Hey there, welcome to another edition of Blueprint Digital, where we discuss industry trends, challenges, and opportunities in the construction space. Today, we're joined by Ashley Daisley, founder of Campfire. They are a clarity platform for founders, creators, and modern teams, helping businesses navigate change in today's environment. Welcome to Blueprint Digital, Ashley.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, me too. So, give us a quick overview of your company.
Of course. My company is called Campfire. It's a brand that's founded through my insight studio called Daisley Insight. And it takes my wealth of knowledge from the past 14 years working in corporate strategy and innovation. From there, I help teams slow down enough to actually make the right decisions to have their ideas last in market and be really successful, having the right questions in sequence.
Perfect. So, what makes you stand out from the competition? What's your special sauce?
My special sauce is I've realized that the one thing that teams usually get wrong is they feel pressure is clarity, and that drives them to making a quick decision. And oftentimes, you could probably speak from experience. I know I can. Trying to start a new idea, going off of that gut instinct of, oh, I think this is the right direction. It's not always the best way. A lot of the time, it actually takes some forethought, some slowing down to ask the right sequence of questions. And then from there, we can really get some impact and momentum on our ideas.
I always say fact over feelings, definitely data driven. I also like to say that the pace of change has never been this fast, but it's only getting faster.
That's so true.
Can you share a little bit about your role and how it fits into the overall structure and bigger picture of the company?
Definitely. So, my role is principal strategist. What that means is I am the point of contact when it comes to a firm that may have a new idea. It could be a large enterprise team, it could be a smaller organization, or even just a founder working on a new idea that they have out of their garage. I can help them when it comes to thinking through that idea in terms of, using my framework in terms of CAMP. That stands for consumer need, adoption curve, market fit, and product positioning to help them understand if any one of those things is out of sync. That usually is where the problem lies. So I help them find the core of that problem.
Perfect. What major shifts are you seeing in the industry right now?
You can't get people to stop talking about AI, right? That definitely is a major shift. But then also when it comes to that, I think a lot of people are warming up to the idea of using synthetic data tools, really integrating AI in ways where we didn't really imagine it possible before. And there's certainly places for that. I think one trouble we can get into is putting just a wide range of application with AI without that forethought of, is this actually the right application for it? Or maybe there's a human AI augmented pair that we could go after for that sort of application. So that's something that I hope to help more companies really consider when it comes to integrating AI tools.
So it sounds like you have a large structure and portfolio around AI tools. Are you implementing a lot of those structures into place today?
Absolutely. There are lots of AI tools when it comes to making websites, for example. You can use Lovable for even app building as well. There's 21 Gen. There's so many different tools I can name. Many of them don't even really use LLM. Some are using AI in other ways. And that definitely is something that I have helped teams to consider of how they can implement that into their frameworks and into their decision making when it comes to introducing new products into market.
What's working well for you right now and what's been frustrating?
When it comes to starting a new company, I've learned that you really have to start scrappy. Something that has been working well for me is taking a step back instead of just jumping into a formalized platform. Taking a step back, starting really scrappy, even with the diagnostic. So, something, and actually, this is a pair to answer your question. Something that was a struggle for me early on was thinking that I needed to have a formal CTO come in to really develop my product. I needed to have the marketing team. I needed to have all of these people around me. And actually, what I found from taking a step back from developing a formal app, I found that in order to get clear on what the consumer need is, on what my client need truly is when it comes to my digital tools, I have to start scrappy. So I've actually decided to do in turn is create a diagnostic. And what that means is people can access my website, they can fill out the diagnostic and understand where they may fit along the framework. Then from there, they can get the tools that they need that's most crucial to them at that stage of their idea and launching their product. But if I want to go about it that way, I would miss out on so much knowledge and learning about just that initial use case and really what the crux of the need is for the client coming into the platform.
Which metrics are you most focused on improving today?
The metrics I'm most focused on improving, definitely my churn rate, making sure that people are accessing my tool, going from initial use case all the way to reusing the tool. That's definitely a metric that I'm looking at improving. I'm also hoping to improve the metrics for those clients. So, when it comes to growing awareness of their products, when it comes to growing their user base, it's something else that I really pride myself in being able to do. And I just take that from my years of working in the innovation space, knowing that those are some of the most critical things to hit earlier on.
And if I want to see your tools firsthand, what's your website?
My website is getcampfire.ai. That will give you access to my tools. And right now, my beta for Torch is available. Torch is a tool where consumers or my clients can come in, use the tool. This is founders, teams working on a new product idea, or it could be teams working on a conceptual idea, like maybe it's even an event or something like that. And then from there, they can access the diagnostic and it will give them the tool that they need in turn from that framework.
You talked about the AI tools you're using to help your clients out. Are you using AI inside your own business today as well?
Definitely. Something that actually has been really exciting for me is using a tool called Make is a tool that allows you to have a generative flow for your workflow. So it auto generates actions and you can tell it to, for example, access a tool that you've set up through Typeform, for example. Fills out a survey on your website. Then in Make, you can set it up to connect to your email so they can send them an email as soon as they finish that form. You can connect it to your social media accounts so that it launches a campaign for you after getting some data back. You can connect it to an LLM so it searches the web for you and incorporates what it finds into even your email. You set up this sequence of connecting the dots of the actions that you would normally take after someone completes a form or introduces themselves to you through a website. And it automatically generates that workflow for you. So you don't have to concern yourself with following up with every individual that comes into your space. That is definitely a tool that I cannot do without at this point. It's called Make.
Productivity is definitely a benefit, right? If you can find it in automating tools and AI, the better off you are. You talk about being scrappy, Spartan like,
Yeah.
that efficiency is critical.
Absolutely, and it's something that we miss out on. Oftentimes, moving so fast, we actually create so much work for ourselves in the back end. So it prevents us from moving scrappy. I think once we take a beat just to think through the sequencing of questions, what we're asking, and really what the metrics are that we're looking to find out, then we can really make that direct scrappy action once we've done that work in the back end. Many of us miss out on that.
Thinking about the markets you serve, what does the year look like ahead for Campfire?
I'm actually really excited. I feel like in the past year, there's just been a wave of people who are interested in starting their own companies, founding their own businesses. And I'm just so excited to meet all of these new founders and help them as they're forming these new ideas. I feel my business is definitely going to take a turn towards moving and working with more of those solopreneurs, people who have an idea that they've been sitting on for years and have just decided now is the time. Many of them don't have a team behind them. So when it comes to making strategic decisions, a lot of the time, many, I mean, quite frankly, are wasting their money saying, oh, I guess I should hire a fractional employee to come in for a couple $1,000s a month. when many, oftentimes they just have one question that really needs to be answered. So I feel my tools definitely can come in as a cost effective way for them to get more of that strategic insight that's needed in the early stages, right? Um, Many people think when they're starting something new, I need to develop a logo. What is the type font that I'm going to use for my logo or my website? What are the color schemes? They feel like that's the most important thing, but oftentimes we really need to start with the consumer need. How are we serving people? How are we helping people? What really matters about the story and the backstory behind what we're building? And then also the timing of it all. Are we hitting a wave, a trend that's just building? Are we hitting a trend that's already mature and there isn't that much upside because of that? And if so, maybe there's a different angle we can take to actually come on to a different trend to give ourselves more momentum. There's so many different questions that I think could stand out more and bring in more success than just thinking about what the aesthetic is of this idea that I have to bring to market.
When you talk about all these potential new firms and solo entrepreneurs starting a business, what does your ICP look like? Who's your ideal customer?
My ideal customer is someone who has a fantastic idea, and it really can be across any industry. They have an idea that they personally have felt the pain of. And many times, people who start these new companies, they tend to be the most underqualified to start that, right? They just have the idea, they've been in the position, they feel the need, but in order to scale that and to bring it to more demographics, more populations, there are some questions that need to be asked and some research that could be done to gather the insights needed to really make that idea blow out of the water. So, my ICP is someone who has a fantastic idea in their mind, but they're not quite sure of how to make it work for more than just them or just a small handful of people. I can come in and help them really develop their consumer need, their timing in terms of when they're launching, market fit in terms of whether they have the right form that they're delivering to market, and then also the positioning, the story behind the idea, so that it accelerates beyond just that small initial group that definitely will be served by the idea, but now it can serve so many and help so many more people given that they've put that forethought into place. So that's my ICP. I hope to help so many people.
Fantastic. Each episode, we ask our guests the biggest challenge or struggle facing their business. They love to solve that proverbial magic wand. What is your challenge that's holding you back or slowing you down?
That's a great question. My challenge that's holding me back is getting enough users to commit, to come in. I want to learn from as many people as possible across as many industries as possible. I have had some headway with certain industries, people in tech, for example, they tend to be a little bit more experimentative, early adopter types. So for them, it's certainly easier to bring them on board when it comes to an AI supported tool. But when it comes to people in more traditional industries or nonprofits, for example, they tend to just go back to the old tried and true methods, which oftentimes doesn't really work as well as some of the more modern things coming to market. So, the biggest challenge for me is thinking about my own positioning and how I am marketing myself to these businesses who are more reluctant to coming onto a new novel tool such as something that uses AI. So that I would say is my biggest hang up.
So the calendar just turned to a brand new year. If you think about what would make it a successful year for Campfire, where do you want to be in 6 or 12 months?
In 6 to 12 months, I want to have over 10,000 users in Campfire. I also want to move Campfire from a diagnostic web based tool into an app that you can buy on the Apple App Store. Today, there are many tools where you can vibe code your own app. With my version one, it definitely would be something that I vibe code and put onto the Apple App Store. And I can still have up to 10,000 users using that method to build it. I think that's something that a lot of people don't know is that you can actually use some of these vibe coding tools to create apps where you can have upwards of 5, 10,000 users and learn so much and able to develop that traction you need to bring on a team and scale it to bring in even more users. So, in 6 to 12 months, I would say I definitely have my app on the App Store. I also have been able to garner so many insights that I have three core features that I know are needed in the app. Today, I have a plethora of features. I have features in the back of my mind. I have features in the web, on the web application. I have so many options, but you only really learn which ones you can carve out through, having these tried and true methods that you've been doing with your users. You have the use cases that have built up, and then from there, what's most important, what can get cut out or put to the wayside. So in 6 to 12 months, I'll definitely have a learning that I need to be able to say for sure, okay, I know why I have these three features, why they're so prominent in my app, and I know that I'm helping people. I see the ideas coming through and scaling in market to different products and different activations that I can actually see, the success of in market. I can't wait. I'm so excited for that.
Fantastic. Give us your 30-second commercial or elevator pitch on Campfire.
Okay, wonderful. Campfire helps you understand what you need to do before putting your product in market. Oftentimes, we think pressure means clarity, and it doesn't. Actually, pressure sometimes means that there are lots of questions that we haven't addressed. Campfire helps you understand exactly where, in terms of your marketing strategy, you have a failure moment that just needs to be uncovered. And then from there, you can scale your business. With Campfire, we start with that first part of the acronym CAMP. That covers everything you would need with regards to building your product idea. Then the other part, Fire, that gives you everything that you need to form a good team that works together. Having that product aspect and then the team aspect is something that creates successful products. From 14 years in market research, strategy, and innovation, I've been able to harness what that was the magic around those teams and put it into Campfire for the everyday person. I hope to democratize strategic insights.
I love it. Well, Ashley, it's been great having you on Blueprint Digital. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you so much for those watching or listening. Until next time, I'm Troy Mann with Ascent Integration Partners. Remember, the pace of change in the market is getting faster every day. Adapting to change is not a requirement, but neither is survival. Until next time, thanks so much.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, Troy.